Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. It's Yoga with the Royal Voluntary Service Virtual Village Hall, and it's me, Dave, again. And this week is Back Care Week. So we've got a really nice set for you today. We're going to take it really quite easy, and we'll spend a lot of Okay, that should be back. How does that sound? Looks like it's okay now, I think. Hopefully. I'm back. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Sorry about that, everyone. So yeah, thinking about the lumbar spine. All right, so I'm going to use the sound on my computer now. So apologies for all of that. I'm back on. So I was just saying about when we kind of dump down into our lower spine, that's when we can find that compression. And then a lot of the time we find that we sit a lot. And I think especially with all of our routines that have changed during the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic, maybe a lot of us are working from home a lot more, or if we're not working, we're spending a lot more time at home. And that causes problems in itself. The body's really happy when it's moving. And that doesn't mean it has to be, you know, go out for a run or do loads of weights. It can mean just nice, gentle movement. So going for a walk or, you know, doing some gentle gardening or whatever it may be, whatever you like. Yoga, that's always a good thing, isn't it? Yoga. And that really helps with the spine. I'm a great advocate of that you need to keep the spine moving. You know, when you get a twinge in your back and you're like, oh, you know, my spine really hurts, or, you know, or it just feels like a strain. Probably the worst thing to do then is to stop all of your activity. You know, you go to bed, you lie down, and then that can cause a lot more problems where everything begins to stiffen up. So gentle movements can really help. So we'll work through a little bit of that today. And it will be, you know, maybe a 10 or 15 minute set at the start. And then we'll work into some more general yoga poses once we've warmed the spine up. And then these are things that you can take away with you for, you know, for forevermore. So let me just change this. I'm going to go back onto my mat. And then let's all do this. Let's come to stand at the start. We don't usually do this because we're going to spend a lot of time seated. Bring the feet about hip width apart, and then just bring some energy into the body. So maybe just lift up through the toes. You know, you can come up onto the heels, this kind of thing. Wiggle out through the fingers, begin to shake the arms around a little bit, and maybe roll the shoulders. So just bring a little bit of movement, maybe stand into one foot, stand into the other, shake the knees out. Just bring a little bit of aliveness back into the body, or back or into the body, maybe the first time today. And then from here, come back with the feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. Right hand comes on the heart, and then inhale the left arm to the left, and then exhale right arm to the right. So you just inhale, exhale. You're just swapping hands over. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And, you know, you can have the arms up here, or you can bring the hands down where, you know, it's a little bit more informal. But don't think about this too much. You know, it's always nice to close the eyes on these sort of movements, or just keep the gaze soft. And then bring that movement into the body. So, you know, we're just trying to shake out a little bit of energy for when we come down onto our mats. Inhaling left, exhale right, big expansive movements, or bring the hands down and just move in this kind of consistent and intuitive manner. Don't think about it. Nice. And then slowly come back to center. And then from here, take a nice deep inhale, sweep the arms up. So the arms are above the head. Bring the pointer fingers, so the index fingers out, and then cross the thumbs. Find some length here, and then a nice gentle side stretch. Inhale to center, exhale over to the left. Inhale back to center, and then exhale over to the right. So just moving gently, very, very gently. Try and keep the hips in line. Try not to do this where you really swing the hips across. Try and keep the hips neutral, and then that little bend. This is not about the depth. It's just about moving into the body. Do a couple more on either side, just moving at your own pace, whatever feels good for you. And then come back to center, and then clasp the hands, bring the palms forward, and then just round into the spine just a little bit. You drop the chin down, drop the head, and then as you inhale, bring the arms up. As you exhale, round into the spine. Keep the little bend in the knees if that feels good. Inhale, come up, and then one more time. Inhale, round into the spine, and then exhale, come all the way up. Bring the hands down, and then come to sit down on your mat. So I'll make a couple of adjustments here. So you're going to come back into Sukhasana, and get as comfortable as you can. You know, you can always support the hips with a blanket or something like that. Once you arrive, just get a little bit comfortable here. So here we'll move into the lumbar spine, but then we'll move the energy or the movement up through the mid and the upper spine. So we'll do a few things. First of all, I always like to start with a twist because you get a really nice idea with what's going on with the side of the body and in the spine itself, into the shoulders, and you feel the heart center twist open as well. So let's do this. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And then as you exhale, bring the left hand to the right knee. Bring the right hand behind. Inhale, find some length. And then exhale, come into your twist. So I'll show you that from the side. So we're looking for length in the spine. You can see that my spine is nice and long. I'm not kind of here where I'm sat back. And I like to press into my fingertips because I can really engage into this right shoulder. And then I'm using, really not really using the left hand. I'm just resting the left hand on the right knee. Inhale, find length, and then exhale into your twist. A couple more times like that. Just breathe deeply. Maybe close the eyes, just check in what's going on for you. And then from here, take an inhale, come back to center, have a little wriggle around, you know, find length in the spine, maybe roll the shoulders. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and then we move to the other side. So right hand on the left knee or inside of the left thigh, bring the left hand behind, find that length, see how straight my back is, and then exhale over to the left. Deep, rich inhales here. And then full exhales. Deep inhale. And then full exhale. And then just take a couple more breaths here like this. No need to move the chin. Just keep the head in line with the sternum. One more deep inhale. And then a full exhale. And then come all the way back to center. Really nice, everybody. And then we're going to go into some spinal flexes. So you might want to keep these really, really gentle. The yogis say you are only as old as your spine. So this is why it's so important to keep everything moving, especially down in the lumbar spine. So this first one we're going to do, it can be a little bit tricky if you've not done it before. You probably have done something like this with me before if you do my classes. Bring the hands onto the front shin, and then you inhale the chest forward, and then you exhale you round. So it's just that movement. Inhale, bring the heart center forward, and then exhale, round into the spine. So you're just using the hands as kind of a little bit of leverage. Inhale, forward, exhale, round. Inhale, forward, exhale, round. And the movement might be really tiny. So you're just really thinking here about think about your pelvis, and it just rocks backwards, and it rocks forwards. It rocks backwards, it rocks forwards. And as I say, you're kind of using your core, and you're using the strength of the muscles in your spine just to bring yourself backwards and forwards. Try and connect it with the breath. Always inhale forwards, always exhale round. And keep the chin, the head, nice and still. So try not to do this kind of thing where the head moves. So the head's always nice and still. Like if I put my hand underneath my chin, it's not moving. There's a little bit of flex, obviously, through my spine, but it's not moving my head. Nice. Then get into your rhythm. So just carry on like this. I'll show you what it looks like from the side if you can't quite get the movement. So nice straight spine. Inhale forward, exhale round. And just get into a rhythm. You know, you might be just inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Or if you feel like you've got a little bit more movement in the spine, feel free to kind of move at the pace that I'm doing. You can see, look, this is where the movement is. It's all here. So just be gentle. Never push it too far. Nice. Do 2 more complete rounds in your own time. Inhale, find length. Bring the heart center forward. Exhale, round into the spine. Inhale, bring that length in the spine. Heart center's open. And then exhale, round. And then just relax and come back to center. Nice, everyone. Take a couple of breaths here. Maybe bring the hands onto the knees and just pause. Maybe close the eyes. And just tap in with the sensations in the body. Nice. And then if your eyes are closed, come with the eyes open. And then what we'll do is we'll bring the feet out in front, have the palms face forward, lean back into the arms, and then just rock the knees from side to side. So you drop the knees down to one side, drop the knees down to the other. So we're just getting here into the hips, the outer hips, making sure that we are comfortable in all of these poses. Maybe nice and slowly. Next time you bring the knees down to the right, just pause here. Breathe into the left hip. And then come back to center and do the opposite. Nice. So knees over to the left. Breathe into this outer right hip. Beautiful. And then come all the way back to center. And then see if you can remember which shin was in front and swap it over. And then we're going to do the same kind of thing, but we're now going to get into the mid and the upper spine. You'll still feel flex in the lower spine. Excuse me, but then we're just going to move up. Everyone's suffering from this cold at the moment, aren't they? Well, not everyone, but I've had a bit of a cold this week. It's not COVID. Everyone says that, don't they? I've got a cold. It's not COVID. It's not COVID. I've had a test. All right. Not that it would bother you. You're miles away. All right. So bring the hands onto the knees. Inhale the chest forward. Exhale round. So it's the same movement as here, but now we've got the hands on the knees. So same thing with the head. It doesn't move, but now you find that the flex, because the arms come into play a little bit more, you know, you're not here. You feel that the shoulders, there's a little bit more movement. Inhale forward, exhale round, and just get into the rhythm. And again, I'll show you what it looks like from the side. So these are, you know, 5 or 6 poses we're going to do today that you can just bring into your daily life. Maybe move slowly. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. But you can already see how much the spine can move. You know, I'm not particularly flexible in my spine, but I promise you, since I've been doing these kind of movements a few times a week for the last 6 or 7 years, I hardly ever get any spinal pain. It's amazing. So think about the same thing. The pelvis rocks forwards, the pelvis rocks back, the heart center round. Sorry, the heart center comes through, and then the spine rounds. Here's the round. Here's the heart center coming through. Nice. Begin to slow it right down. Whatever pace you were going at, do 2 more rounds. Inhale, exhale round. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, come round. And then inhale, just come back to a neutral spine. Beautiful, everyone. And then same thing, Bring the hands, palms up, palms down, whatever feels good for you, and then just check in. Maybe close the eyes. And you're just noticing what's going on. So maybe it's purely physical. Maybe, you know, you feel a little bit of energy. And then if the eyes are closed, come with the eyes open. So physically, you can see what's going on there. You know, we're kind of bringing the flex and we're bringing movement into the spine, also into kind of like the supporting muscles around the spine as well. And we think about our core. Everyone's like, oh, I've not got a very, very strong core. My core's not very strong. Our core is not just the front of the body. It's also the side and the back. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to kind of strengthen the trunk of the body. So, you know, we sometimes do side-to-side movements. You know, we can do a lot of core exercises, and this works into the core, but then also working into the back body. So we're trying to really strengthen around this area. We can get very weak here, and then the supporting muscles can't support the spine, and that's probably why we get some of the pain that we do. Okay. From here, we will do that movement now of just moving the spine from side to side. So we'd move the energy up and down the spine, and we flex the spine backwards and forward. So energetically and physically, that's very good for us. But let's do this one. Bring the left hand just by the left hip, and then inhale the right arm up over to the left, and then exhale the left arm over to the right. Inhaling, and then exhaling. So just move really slowly here at the start. If you find that it's hard for you to get the arm straight, just bend into the arm. Try and get the palm of the hand down towards the floor. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. Nice. So now that lateral movement, side to side. So thinking about strengthening the side of the body. Excuse me. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. Nice. Stay with this flow. Feel free to close the eyes or just soften your gaze. Work with the breath. Inhale left, exhale right. And you can see how kind of still my sit bones are. So I'm not doing this kind of thing where I'm really muscling into it and everything lifts. I'm really pressing my sit bones down into the floor. So my pelvis is pretty steady and neutral. And that helps to protect the lower spine as well. Let's do 3 more on either side. Beautiful. And then slowly bring the top arm down. And then just press the hands into your mat. Roll the shoulder blades back. And then just breathe here. So you feel that engagement. You feel the length in the spine. And again, as I was saying at the start, hopefully you heard me because my microphone kept cutting out. But you're not kind of like dumping down into the spine and putting too much pressure on the lumbar spine. Beautiful. Really nice. Let's lean back into the hands again. Bring the feet out and then just windscreen wipe the legs from side to side while I have a little cough. Nice. So this time maybe moving a little bit quicker, or if you wanted to do like we did at the start and you're pausing on either side, feel free. So I'm a massive fan of just meeting your body where it is, not pushing too much. Gentle movements can have a very profound effect. And then come all the way back to center and then cross the other shin in front. I probably got that right. I probably got it wrong. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to twist the spine. So we move the energy up, then we moved it laterally from side to side, and now we're going to twist the spine. You need to be very gentle with this one. But this is so good for us on an energetic level, but also twisting the spine open at every vertebra. So you've got 2 options. You can either bring the arms into cactus, so you've got the bend in the elbows, and the fingers can just point up into the air. You know, make sure the hands are activated, so you're not kind of like, ugh, you go. This is not activated. This is activated. All right, so you can do this, or you can bring the hands onto the shoulders, so your little fingers at the front and then your thumbs at the back. I like this one. This one feels better for me. And then what you do is you inhale to the left and then you exhale to the right. So you can see your twist. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. And maybe you move really slow. In fact, let's all of us move really slowly. Twisting the spine open. Be curious of how this feels. Remember, there should never be any pain. Never. And then if you wanted to, you can always speed it up. So sometimes I'm inhale, come back to center. Pause the breath. If your hands are on the shoulders or they're in cactus, bring the hands down. And then again, just stretch the arms right out this time. And then just have the palms face up. Feel the length in the spine. And then just find some stillness. And again, see if you can tap in with energy in the body or physical changes. Eyes might be closed or the gaze is soft. And then really, really gently just come with the eyes open. Yeah, nice, everyone. And then feel free just to lengthen the legs out and then give them a bit of a pad out. So maybe pad the calves down into the ground and maybe roll the ankles, lean back into the arms. This can feel good. Whatever feels good for you. Nice. And then come all the way back with your feet crossed or your legs crossed. So that's kind of probably, you know, four postures that we did then. And that can take you with a little bit of breath meditation. So maybe you sit at the start for 2 minutes and then you sit at the end for 2 minutes. That's a 25-minute practice. Or you could get it right down to 15 minutes. You don't have to go as long as we did on some of those postures. And that will serve you really well. You know, it's a beautiful thing to do in the mornings. Get out of bed. Commit yourself to a practice. People are like, I haven't got time to practice yoga in the morning, Dave. And I say to people, go to bed half an hour earlier. It's great. And then I end up going to bed at 9 o'clock now. But that's okay. Going to bed at 9 o'clock is kind of the new rock and roll, isn't it? Yeah, late nights. It's so I was going to say 1990s. That was 30 years ago, but it probably was 1990s for me. All right. Okay. So you can build on it though. So there's more things we can do. So let's just carry on. They're the 4 postures that I would really recommend. But let's use these ones because they're really nice. So we think about the spine. We've gone right from the lower spine. We've moved the energy up. We've twisted it. We've moved the energy from side to side. Think about the shoulders. So, you know, we don't just hold tension in the lower spine. We also hold it up here, back of the neck, in the shoulders. We can be very, very tight there. So we bring the hands onto the knees and the palms are face down. You inhale the shoulders up. You exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. So when you inhale them up, you try and wear the shoulders like earrings. When you exhale down, you really kind of engage and then just drop the shoulder blades down the back. So this is fine like this. If you want to kind of make it a little bit more purposeful, try and close the eyes or close the eyes only if it feels safe, and then focus in between the eyebrows. And then think about the energy rising up through the spine. As you exhale, really drop the shoulder blades. Inhale up. Pause the breath, and then just hold the breath here. And then exhale, drop the shoulders down. Beautiful. And then we just move, because it feels intuitive. Once you move up and then you come into the shoulders, then it's like, my neck needs a little bit of movement. So we can do two things into the neck, or a combination of two things. So the hands are nice and relaxed. Just inhale the head to the left. And then exhale the head to the right. Really, really gentle, and probably go slower than you want to go. Slow it down. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhaling left. And exhaling right. Any areas that you feel are tight, you might kind of feel a little bit of, I don't know, sometimes it feels not grinding, that's the wrong word, a little bit of tension, sometimes a little bit gristly, I guess. Should never hurt though. Breathe into those areas that feel tight. And then bring the head back to center, and then just begin to circle the nose a few times in one direction. Think about drawing circles with the nose. And bring the head up. Nice big circles. Or little. Doesn't have to be big. Whatever feels good for you. And then come back the other way. Just moving at a pace and at a depth that feels good for your body today. And then come all the way back to center. Beautiful. And then if your eyes are closed, just come with the eyes open. Nice. So if you've got, say, half an hour in the morning, that's a half an hour practice. So we do what we did, 4 postures, then we can move into, spinal or shoulder shrugs, and then we can just move into moving the head with those 2 versions. Really good for the upper spine and into the cervical spine. Okay, so from here, we'll move a little bit. So come on to all 4s. We're still going to concentrate on the spine, but we're going to do it from a tabletop position. So let's just have a look at our tabletop. We've not kind of like lined it up for a long time. So we don't want to be here, and we don't want to be here. We don't want to be here. We want to have a nice straight spine. Think about the hips, or the knees are right below the hips. And then think about the wrists are right below the shoulders. You can have them a little bit in front. You can see that my wrists are a little bit in front. And that takes a bit of pressure out. If they're right underneath, they were here. But that feels too much for me on my wrists. So maybe walk them forward a little bit. And then from here, cat and cow. Beautiful way to keep the spine open. Inhale, really drop the belly down. See, my belly spills out. You see what happens to my lumbar spine? This is like standard when I'm in tabletop. And then when I spill my belly down, it begins to kind of like bow. And then my head and my heart lift. And then exhale, round into my spine. And it's the same as the movement we were kind of doing seated. So inhale forward. Pelvis drops forward. Elongates the spine. Head and the heart lift. Exhale, press into the hands, separate the shoulders, and then the spine rounds. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then just get into your rhythm. Inhale. Nice, everyone. Exhale. As you take your next inhale, have a little look at your hands. Make sure that they're spread out. You're pressing into the base and the knuckle of each hand. All about the spine here. And a cat and cow. If you've got, say, 5 minutes only in the morning, come into cat and cow. And if your body feels okay, a few rounds of sun salutation, have a cup of tea, happy days. But we can spare more than 5 minutes on our yoga practice. Surely. All right, 2 more complete rounds. And then nice deep inhale, come all the way back to center. Nice. From here, what we'll do is we'll work into the spine and the hips again. Split the knees quite wide. So this time you bring them onto the edges of your mat, bring the big toes together, and then walk the hands forward and walk the hips back. Walk the hands forward, walk the hips back. So you come into child's pose. And maybe keep it a little bit active. So the advantage of having the arms lifted like mine are now is that you can begin to push the sit bones here down onto the heels. They don't have to be, you might more be like here or here. That's okay. Whatever version you find, and then breathe all the way down the spine. Breathe into the lumbar spine. Then breathe into the shoulders. At this stage, if you wanted to, you can drop the forearms down onto the floor, and then we move from side to side in one of the earlier postures. Maybe just walk the hands off your mat. So come over to the right-hand side and then stretch down the left. As you do that, maybe use the right hand just to press the left sit bone or the left bum cheek down onto the left heel. And then just breathe here. Make sure the head is nice and relaxed. There's no tension. Beautiful. Come all the way back to center. Just claw your way back and then come to the other side. And then this time feeling the stretch all the way down this right-hand side into the lower spine. And then again, use the hands just to press the right sit bone down onto the heel. So you're not kind of like hoiking the hips to one side and everything becomes unbalanced. Beautiful. And then come all the way back to center. And then keep the hands where they are out in front and push yourself back to a tabletop position. I'm lucky because I've got a really nice spongy mat today, but probably you haven't got a spongy mat. So let's just step one foot back, relieve the knees, really press into the toes, activate through the whole of that right leg, or it might be the left, it doesn't matter. And then swap it out. I always like these stretches to get into the calves and get into the ankles, maybe the bottom of the feet. Beautiful, everyone. And then come all the way back to center. I'm going to cough again, excuse me. This is my last yoga class for 3 days or 2 days, which is good news. Coughing yoga. Okay, all right. So from here, what we'll do is come up onto your toes, walk the hands back towards the knees. So you're here, and then come up just onto the balls of the toes or the balls of the feet. The knees are quite wide. If you find this is tough, you don't have to get the heels down, by the way. Don't worry about that. If you find this is tough, you just walk the hands forward. And then what you do is just separate the feet just a little bit. So I'm going to step my feet out just a little bit. So they're, I don't know, 3/4 of the way into either side of my mat. So it's quite wide, but my toes are certainly not on the edges of my mat. And then from here, just walk the hands forward. You might just come here. You might already feel the stretch in the spine. So the idea here is to lengthen the arms forward as you push the hips back and try and find length in the spine. It's hard for me to do it. So I come right up onto my fingertips and then I can let my head drop down. It's a little bit intense. So feel free to rock around, and you don't have to come into the full expression or, the deepest posture, or just come into your own individual expression of it. And then very, very gently bring the knees down onto the floor so you come somewhat back into that tabletop position. Nice. And then from here, we're just going to lower to the floor. So you can do this how you want. You can just bend at the elbows and lower down. Or if you want to make it more physical, come into plank and then lower nice and slowly. Feel free to drop the knees and lower. Or you can make it where you lower all the way down in one swoop. And then lie down on the floor. First time we've been here, stack the hands. So the hands are about shoulder width apart and parallel with your shoulders. So this is Sphinx Pose. So we work into a couple of variations of this. If you feel this is too much into the spine, then just walk the elbows forward a little bit. So you come here, or here, or here, or here. It doesn't have to be all the way back. And then imagine spreading out through the fingers. Your feet are about hip width apart. Just press them into the floor or into your mat, and then activate through the fingers. And imagine pulling the mat back towards you. So you activate through the forearms, pull the mat back. And then as you do that, your chest should lift. Everything lifts. Beautiful. And then breathe here. So you should feel this little compression into the lower spine. Breathe deeply here. So this is Sphinx Pose. So this puts a nice amount of stress on the lumbar spine. So back to where we started. When we think about when we hold these poses for a little bit longer, what it does, it puts an appropriate amount of stress into the spine. So we stress it, and then we get this recovery response. And when we get the recovery response, it means that the muscles around the spine and the spine itself becomes stronger. And as we all age, that's so important for us. And you might feel like, there's not a lot going on here, Dave. We're just lying on the floor. There's so much going on. And when you hold it for longer, you find that the recovery response over the next few days will be amazing. Everything remains nice and fluid. The body becomes stronger. You become more flexible. The spine feels better. And the world is a happy place. Yeah, the world's a happy place with a happy spine. All right, everyone. Because it is so frustrating when your spine is sore or your back is sore. I hate it. All right, everyone. From here, begin to lower the head down and then just begin to stack the hands on each other and then wing the elbows out nice and wide and then just look to one side. Let the whole weight of the body just melt down into the floor and then breathe really deeply here. Beautiful. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, nice and simple. Tuck the toes under, push yourself back up to a tabletop, and then flip over onto your right hip or your left, it doesn't matter, and then come to lie down on your backs. So we'll do a couple of poses here on our backs, because lying on our backs, we can do a lot of work here as well. So this is one of my favorite. There's probably lots that we can do here, but we ain't got time. So I'll show you like 2 or 3. All right, so lie down on the back, and then this is a really simple one. You just hug the knees into the chest. Let's do it this way. Bring the feet down onto the floor. Relax everything. So you're not really bringing any intention here. So you bring your hands, palms down, just underneath the lumbar spine. Now you feel that there's a bow there, isn't it? And that's the natural curvature of your lumbar spine. So you should be able to get your hands underneath. All right, so you can remove it and then press that lumbar spine down into the floor. And then relax it. And then press it down. Imagine imprinting each vertebra down into the mat, into your mat, and then relax it. So when you press the spine down, you already feel this activation here. So you can see how the back of the body is connected round the side to the front of the body. This is why the core is not just here, it's at the back. And then from here, just hug the knees into the chest. And then feel free to rock it out. So any kind of like strain in the back, this can feel really good. All right. Any variations, you can widen the knees, you can bring the knees together, you can do some nice hip circles. And then from here, a pose called Constructive Rest, where the feet are nice and wide, right on the edges of your mat, and then you let the knees touch. So you see my knees are wide, and now I'm letting my knees touch together. So the knees knock in, the feet go nice and wide, and then find somewhere comfortable for the hands. They can be here, above the head. They can be here, down by the hips, or you can place the left hand on the heart and the right hand on the stomach, and then just breathe here. So nice release into the spine. And then what usually follows this pose is you separate the knees, walk the feet in towards each other, so the soles of the feet touch, and then just let the knees fall open. And keep the hands where they are, or you can change the hand position. So this is with cobbler pose or reclined cobbler. So now we're getting to the inner hips. Just let the bones sink down into the floor. No holding here. And just over time, gravity takes its course and the knees just begin to drop down. Some more relaxing poses. And then from here, bring the hands onto the outer thighs and just encourage the knees back together. Bring the feet so they're about hip width apart now. So you can just about touch the ankles. You can see I can just touch my ankles. Nice. And then from here, with the palms just face down, press into all four corners of the feet. Inhale, lift up the spine now, and then come into bridge pose. So this is all about the spine here. But you might feel this in the front of the body. I always feel it in the hip flexors. Maybe you feel it into the thighs. But there's a deep bend in the spine, so always stretching the spine. So lengthening the spine vertebra by vertebra. Come up onto the shoulders. Take a couple of breaths here. Make sure the knees are not too wide. If you've got like a block or a book, you can always press that in between the knees, and that encourages the knees just to internally rotate. And then when you're ready, exhale, just roll down through the spine. Nice and slowly. Vertebra by vertebra. And then lay the spine onto the floor. And then the final physical posture we'll do is keeping the feet maybe a little bit wider than hip distance. Bring the arms out so they're parallel with the shoulders. And then what you're going to do is you're going to begin to drop the left knee over to the left-hand side. And then let the right knee begin to follow it. But try and keep the sole of the right foot on the floor. So this outer edge of the right foot, this bit here, remains on the floor. So you're not kind of doing this where the foot lifts. You're trying to keep the outer edge of the right foot on the floor. So it's just a nice gentle twist into the hips and the back. And then slowly come back to center. And then come to the other side. So first of all, let the right knee drop out. And then the left knee begins to follow it. But keep the blade edge of the left foot on the floor. Gentle twist into the spine, into the hips. Nothing too strenuous. So if you have 45 minutes to spare, this is your practice. And probably do it 3 times a week and see what happens. And then from here, very, very gently come all the way back to center. Nice. Hug the knees into the chest. And then if it feels okay, you can always bring the head up towards the knees. Squeeze yourself into a little ball. Nice, everyone. Beautiful. And then from here, we're just going to press the feet down into the floor. Roll over to one side. Support the head with the hands. Take a couple of breaths here. And then really gently, with the aid of the top hand, press it into the floor and then roll all your way back up. Nice and slowly. And then come back to a seated position where we started the class. Beautiful, everyone. Really nice work. Think about how we sit here. You know, easy pose. It's not that easy, but try and find length in the spine. So we don't want to be sitting like this. We want to be sitting like this. You know, not where we're like, ugh, but we want to find length in the spine. Make sure that you lift out of the lumbar spine and then relax. All right, beautiful. From here, rub the hands together at heart center. Create a load of heat. Loads and loads of heat here. I'm on fire. All right, and then close the eyes if that feels safe. Bring the palms of the palms over the eyes, and then just blink the eyes open. Rotate the eyeballs a couple of times one way. Rotate the eyeballs a couple of times the other way. And then with the eyes closed, just begin to give yourself a little massage. Maybe start with the forehead and then massage into the temples, maybe the ears, and come down onto the cheeks, maybe the eyes themselves, the nose, maybe the chin, maybe the neck. Give yourself a little massage here. Big one, little one. Say hello to yourself. Nice. Beautiful. And then from here, bring the hands to heart center. Maybe just bowing your head down towards your prayer. And first of all, wish yourself well, and then wish everybody else well. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining today. Sorry about the little problem we had at the start with the sound. That's that's my fault. My microphone wasn't working. And hopefully the sound was okay because I used computer audio. As I say, that's a class that you can do anytime. I also teach it twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 a.m. and I do one at 10:30 as well. So if you're interested in my other classes, then feel free. They're on Zoom, and you can pay or you don't have to pay. It's kind of donation based, and we do a lot of that work into the spine. So send me a message or get in touch via Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you. And I hope you have the rest of a beautiful day. Enjoy the fine weather that's coming. I think it's going to be good tomorrow. Get outside, get moving. Don't get too tight in the lumbar spine. And I'll see you again next week. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me join you.